Absolute pleasure to be in front of all of you today to tell you a little bit more. In these next 7 minutes, I'll tell you a little bit more about how I discovered the pillars of an elite sales career and how, as a sales leader, you can help your team to accelerate the establishment and development of the pillars in their own careers. But before we get into that, just if everyone just takes a moment to reflect back, how many of you at school or younger, wherever, dreamt of being a sales professional? Probably very few, right? I think there's much cooler things we dream of being when we're at school. Joe, that might even be a racing driver, an astronaut, or maybe some people even a bus driver, right? Who knows? But most people not sales. And Joe, like many, I was the same. Joe didn't really dream of being in sales, albeit I joined young. I think a lot of us just stumble into this career. But when we start to see the potential of what you can achieve and where you can take your life, I find a lot of people get super motivated and encouraged to build it from there. It really is incredible from that perspective. However, unlike other careers, I think in sales, it can be a little bit murky in how you actually establish your career. If you look at being, I don't know, a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, or another profession like that, it's a little bit more structured. The path is a little bit clearer in how you do that. In sales, you've just got to figure it out. Now, along my path, I have met probably hundreds, probably even thousands of salespeople, and I'm sure a lot of you on the call today. So combined, that's a lot of the salespeople we've all met. But I think what you is that a lot of people, most people, unfortunately, don't achieve a great deal of success in a sales career. I think there's a lot more people that do not succeed, unfortunately, or get moderate performance. And then you have that small percentage who do incredibly well, achieve astronomical things, some of the highest earners we've probably met, and do very well in their sales career, adding value to their clients, their business, and themselves. And throughout my career, I've been fortunate enough to spend a good few years at Salesforce, where I worked amongst some of the very best in the industry and made some good friends and learned a hell of a lot. I spend the time to really evaluate other sales professionals, see what I can learn from them and how I can improve. And I started to notice commonalities in these people. And that's not necessarily commonalities in their sales approach, what they say and how they do it, but commonalities in how they've reached that amazing place in their career. And I spent some time pondering on that and not really doing a great deal with that insight, except 18 months ago, I decided to validate this hypothesis I had on how you've reached that place in your career. I did that by interviewing 50 highly successful salespeople all across the world, so all across North America, UK, France, Germany, all across Europe, even down to Mexico, Australia, and further afield, to really get a broad sample. And what I did in these interviews is simply have someone share their story with me. How did they get into sales? And that's always a super interesting question to ask people, by the way. And then how they then went on to achieve what they have in their own careers. And I'm very proud to say that from all of those 50 interviews, as insightful and fun as that was, all 50 validated my hypothesis. That is how I uncovered what I call the pillars of an elite sales career. Now, fast forward 18 months on, I have finished writing a book, which should be published in November. In that book, I share the 5 pillars of an elite sales career, as well as 2 behaviors that are crucial in developing the pillars, practical advice on how professionals can implement these into their career at almost any stage on the journey, as well as 18 of the 50 stories shared within to really bring it to life. And I've tried to make it fun, engaging. We'll see, you tell me. So that it's actually something you want to pick up and read. So that's what I've done with the knowledge. But as a sales leader, what can you do today with the pillars? I think there's 3 things you can probably take away from this call. Number 1 is, in our profession, I think it's a growing thing you start to see, is our clients expect us to be more than just a salesperson and know our products inside out. They expect us to be an advisor, an expert of our industry, our problem, the solution to that answer. They expect that of us. So sales leader is to encourage your team to be that trusted advisor, give them the tools and give them the knowledge to accelerate their path towards that. Second is the very best, the sharpest minds have a beginner's mind. They're constantly learning, sharpening their craft. Sales is profession. You must learn how to be that professional. And I think a lot of companies do this quite well, but it's constantly encouraging that development and never stopping. And third is ownership. Joe, it's putting ownership on your team. Yes, sales leaders, they are there to help their teams learn and develop, but at the very best, they take full ownership, and that behavior should really be encouraged. And if there is a bonus point I can share today, a selfish self-promotion is when my book is ready and is published, please buy my book, read my book, and share it. I've done this to help the profession to put some structure in building that path so people can take their own ownership. Ultimately, my goal is to help 100,000 salespeople to accelerate their path, enjoy the elite, and enjoy the fantastic things you can achieve down this career path. Now, what I do have right now is a waiting list. So I've created a website called elitesalescareers.com. That's elitesalescareers.com, where you can join the waiting list. All you need to do is enter your email, and when that book's ready, you'll be one of the first to know. So I hope that was interesting. I hope that was insightful, and I hope you enjoy what I'm soon to bring to the world. Thank you.